we're going to be taking a look at the PCX today. This is one of the great bikes that I would recommend looking at if you're interested in high-risk scooter out here. They're great value, they've got good storage, they'll go most places around Phuket, no problem at all. And they will even go off the island if you want to. Of course, if you're going to be taking a hire vehicle outside of Phuket, you will need to check with the hire shop to see whether it's covered. Obviously, if you break down on the scooter, motorbike, etc., and you are outside of the island, the shop may decide that they're not willing to pay the recovery costs, and you may end up having to pay that yourself. So that's worth discussing with the shop. Some shops will cover you to go outside the island if you agree beforehand, other shops won't. I've come over to Patong to do my review of the PCX, and we are actually at Loma Park in Patong, which is where the bike week is going to take place. It's due to start tomorrow on the 12th of April and will run in Patong for 3 days. And I've come over with my friend Pete, who happens to also own a PCX. In fact, this is actually his second PCX. He had the older model before. My model, it's either 16 or 17. I think it's 2017 if I remember right. But Pete's is a 2018 model. He bought that in December of last year, so it's almost a 2019. There are a few slight differences between the two bikes. Cosmetically, they've slightly changed. They've changed the rear lights, as you can see. Also, the shape of the mirrors, I've noticed, are slightly different. But the main big difference that they've changed is that now they've moved away from the analog display, which is on the older bike, onto, hopefully you can see that, onto a digital display. That is one of the main differences. They are still 150 cc's. Looking at the front of the bike, you can see the headlights have been slightly changed. They are now slightly different on the newer models. There is also a larger storage compartment on the newer models to the older one. And it does have a power outlet so that you would be able to charge your phone if you have the adapter. But having said that, the older one also has the power outlet. Okay, let's just have a quick look around the bike. Of course, you have an ignition switch here. Unfortunately, Honda decided to move away from a key and now has a keyless switch, which I must admit, this is one and only gripe I have with the PCX. This is something I personally don't like. The other changes on the bike are just some minor differences. The foot pegs on the older ones swing outwards, and the foot pegs on the newer ones flip downwards. I don't know which is better, to be honest. I don't think there's going to be much difference. Now, there has been some changes on the actual compartment, as now the documents under the lid, and also the toolkit is situated underneath the seat rather than being in the compartment itself. On the older model, however, the documents are situated in the actual storage compartment with the toolkit. It's only a small change, but it does make a difference to what you can actually fit in. Pete was saying before, his whole older model, he could not fit a 12 pack of waters in this area because of the toolkit, of course. But now in the newer one, you can actually get a full pack of waters in this compartment. So it's only a minor change. On the older bikes, we have a reasonable storage compartment. You can fit a full-size helmet in there. On this particular bike, being the wife's, we have an extra storage compartment. This doesn't, of course, come with the bike. This was something that we bought as an extra to give us a little bit more room. I've actually got panniers that fit on the side of this bike. They weren't originally bought for the PCX, they were actually bought for my Kawasaki, but unfortunately they don't fit my bike. Luckily enough, I can use them on the PCX when we go on a long trip. So again, you can get plenty of storage. You can certainly go an overnight trip on a PCX quite easy, even if you don't have the panniers and the storage compartment on the back. Now Pete was telling me that he's actually owned a 2013 PCX, and he was telling me that the new model, the 2018, actually rides a lot better, is a lot more nimble, feels lighter, feels a nicer bike to ride, more steady, more stable and secure. They now have what they call a combined braking system. So you have two brake levers on the handlebars. The one side is front brake only, and the other side is a combination of the front and rear brakes. Now this is the brake that you need to use most of the time for obvious reasons. If you just pull on the front brake and you apply pressure too hard, you do risk the front wheel locking up and sliding away, which obviously could cause you to come off the bike and be involved in an accident. Basically, the Honda PCX is 150cc, so if you're a solo traveller or a couple, this, in my opinion, 150cc scooter is more than enough for the average person. This bike, fully loaded with two people carrying clothes, etc., will quite easily do 80 to 100 kilometers an hour. They are relatively cheap to hire. I think most places they start from a few hundred baht, maybe 300 baht. They are very easy to ride. It's basically what we call a twist and go. There are no gears. You turn the accelerator and you go. This bike you can quite easily tour with. It's quite comfortable. Obviously you have to be realistic about the distance that you want to cover, but I would say comfortably you could do 300 kilometers a day on a PCX, no problem at all. I've done this myself on this PCX, and that's why I'm saying you can comfortably do it. In fact, the trip that I did recently to Ranong, there and back in one day on the PCX, was over 600 kilometers. Now, of course, I shall be coming down tomorrow to check out the bike week that we have every year in Phuket. So look out for that video, which should be up in about a week's time. Well, as always, I hope you have found the video useful and informative. And if so, please remember to give it a thumbs up. Any questions or comments you can post in the section down below. If you are interested in finding more out about Thailand, then please feel free to subscribe to the channel. So until next time, thanks for watching, and I'll catch you on the next one.